Okay, guys, this is part 11. This is our 11th day reading Wishtree, and today we are on chapter 38. So, as for me, and this is Red speaking the tree, as for me, my reputation grew. Hadn't Maeve's wish come true in the heart of a wish tree? Didn't that mean that anything was possible? Remember, Maeve wished for something to love, and she ended up being given something was brought to the tree for her, and that something was a baby that had been abandoned. So hadn't Maeve's wish come true in the heart of a wish tree? Didn't that mean anything was possible? Of course, as Squibbles often reminded me, I'd had nothing to do with it. This isn't a fairy tale, Red, he would say, but people are full of longings, and decade after decade, the hopes kept coming. A blessing and a burden it has been, all those wishes, all those years, but everyone needs hope. Chapter 39. At long last, I stopped talking. Once the words had spilled out, it was like trying to stop the wind. In the silence that followed, I felt as if the whole world was holding its breath. I had broken the rule. Stephen and Samar still stared open-mouthed at me. They looked as rooted to the ground as I was. Neither had uttered a sound while I'd told my story. The front door to Stephen's house opened. "Stephen," called his father. "What the heck are you doing, young man?" Stephen leaped to his feet. Here I come, Dad. Night, Samar." "Night, Stephen," she said. Stephen dashed toward the porch, but stopped halfway. He spun around to look at me. "Thanks," he said in a quizzical voice, using the same tone he might have used if Bongo had just made him pancakes. The door slammed behind him. Samar stood, holding her blankets to her chest. I know I must be dreaming. She headed to her own porch and eased open the door. "I just wish," she added with a smile, "that I didn't have to wake up." Chapter 40. Almost instantly, I regretted what I'd done. I'd broken the biggest rule. I'd deliberately spoken to people. And not just a few words. I'd spoken a river of words. I wasn't like that frog in the mailbox. I hadn't broken the rule accidentally. I'd broken the rule because I wanted something. I wanted to matter. I wanted to do something meaningful before I died. I'd done it for myself. After the shocked babies and their equally shocked parents were safely ensconced in their dens, I admitted my feelings to Bongo. I waited for her to yell at me. Bongo's good at yelling. Extremely good. You might even say she has a gift. "Why did I do it, Bongo?" I murmured. "Why?" She flew to home plate. She stroked my rough bark with her sleek head. "You did it, my wise old tree, because you had a story to tell." "It was foolish," I said. "I'm not supposed to be foolish." "Not so foolish," Bongo said. "Just hopeful. And everyone needs to hope, Red. Even wise old trees." Chapter 41. Morning emerged slowly, heavy with clouds. A light rain had fallen just before dawn, soothing my leaves, if not my mood. Oddly, the ground felt saturated. Spring was always muddy, of course, but this was unusual. It would make for a messy wishing day tomorrow. An early rising old gentleman with a bamboo cane approached. He paused to attach a small piece of blue paper to my lowest branch, using a bit of twine. He didn't say his wish aloud, so I couldn't tell what it was, but he had a satisfied smile as he stepped carefully through the soggy grass. "No doubt I'll be seeing more wishes today. Many people come early to grab an easy-to-reach spot. This would probably be my last wishing day. How could it be that my first one, that long ago day with Maeve, still seemed as fresh in my heart as my conversation with Stephen and Samar from the previous night. A car slowed to a crawl near the curb. I saw an arm, a blur, and then splat! Something hit my trunk. Splat, splat, 2 more times. And then the car rolled off with a screech of tires. Bongo was the first to report on the damage. Raw eggs, she said. I'm assuming that didn't hurt. Oh, I didn't feel a thing, I said. Fresh baked bread, hairy spiders, and Big U ventured out to inspect the situation. Big U slipped under the police tape and licked one of the yolks sliding down my trunk. She murmured. Raw, just the way I like 'em. Hey, Big, share the wealth, Hairy Spider snapped as she and Fresh joined her. Agnes watched from her perch. I'd much prefer a squirming mouse pup, she said. It's all yours, ladies. Oh, what a nice surprise, Big U said between slurps. This is not nice, said Bongo. This is people at their worst. Still, said Hairy Spiders, licking her paws. It'd be a shame to let perfectly good egg goo go to waste. One creature's nastiness is another creature's nibble. Big U gave a satisfied burp, and the animals scampered back to their homes. The door to Stephen's house opened. He walked over to me, saw the eggshells scattered like puzzle pieces, and scowled. Samar was next, a backpack slung over her shoulder and books clutched to her chest. She leaped over a muddy puddle and joined Stephen. Jerks, he muttered, gesturing toward the egg remains. Sorry, Samar. But Samar held up her hand. Stephen, she said. Last night? Stephen nodded. Last night, he repeated. The tree. Did you hear what I heard? Samar asked. I did. Samar looked right at Stephen. You heard the tree? I heard the tree, he said. Samar gave a little nod. So it was maybe a trick, somebody playing a joke on us. Maybe we were both sleepwalking at the same moment, Stephen suggested. He nodded as if trying to convince himself. Yeah, sleepwalking. Have you ever sleepwalked before? Well, no, but there's a first time for everything. So they stood there, looking at me expectantly, willing me to speak. At least that's how I felt. I stayed silent. I'd said my piece, and I regretted it. Stephen, Samar said softly, whatever happens, we can't tell a soul about this. Deal? Deal. Ever. Ever. Samar sighed. People would say we were crazy. They'd probably be right. Samar jutted her chin at me. Tree, do you have anything to add? But I didn't say a word. Samar and Stephen shared a smile. Figured it was worth a shot, she said. They headed off to school together. Stephen's father came out onto the porch. He was holding a cup of coffee. He caught sight of Stephen and Samar and frowned. A moment later, Samar's mother stepped out of the blue house, her keys jangling, a briefcase over her shoulder. She followed her neighbor's gaze. Both parents watched in silence until Stephen and Samar, walking side by side, disappeared from view. Yeah, okay, one more chapter. Nope, just kidding. The next day is wishing day, so I'm gonna wait. Uh-oh. All right, stop video.